everybody. Welcome to another edition of Get It Got It Good. I am your host, Naja Wilhite Carter, and today, you guys, we get to sit down and talk to Jermaine Mickey. Jermaine, say hi real quick.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Because, Jermaine, you're fascinating. You do a lot of things. You've been in the entertainment field
20
since like
plus
the
years.
90s, early 90s, right?
Yeah,
For
yeah,
a while.
yeah, yeah.
And you're connected to so many people, and I'm sure behind the scenes it makes a difference, but that means you also have a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the music industry, when it comes to the radio industry, and the
uh
projects that you're doing now. So I'm really excited to talk to Jermaine, you guys.
Yeah.
But before we get started, I always have to shout out my sponsors. One man sharpens another. Mission Dance Works, Dance Solutions, Merlin Prep Academy. I got nothing but love for y'all. So let's jump in, Jermaine.
All right.
All right. So you are a singer, correct? Or would you label yourself as a singer or a musician? Because I know you also play the drums. Like, how would you categorize yourself?
I got into singing by default, but it changed my life. No, I would say I would be a musician first,
Uh-huh.
and then as being along with my family group as a gospel group, I transitioned to singing and playing, and then my main thing went into singing.
Awesome, because I know a lot of the times our path in our life journey kind of unfolds before us. I didn't want to be a dancer, but
Yeah,
I got forced into dance, and then I found what I was supposed to do that led me to
yeah,
other things. So
yeah.
I know for a lot of us African American artists, it starts in the church. So you say you started in gospel.
Yes. I started, for those that don't it's not familiar, I started in gospel when I was small. Um I became, you know how it is. If you, back in the days, your mom, you had to go to church.
Yep.
You know, you had to go to church, and so we were always in church. We was always in church. Um, you know, my my background as far as gospel music is traditional gospel music. That's how I became a love for traditional gospel music back in the days, because that's what my family sung, that's what we follow, and that's how I became a love for groups like the Williams Brothers, the Mighty Clouds, Jack Seven Airs, those type of groups. So that's in my DNA, you know. But my family, everybody in my family sings. Uh, for those that don't know, Johnny Gill is my first cousin. Randy Gill is also my cousin as well. Um, they started it, singing with different, going around town singing. They had a family group, uh, singing, and then my mom's and them and my grandmother had a family group. So
Oh.
as time growing up, I remember when I was a baby, I can remember this clear as day. I walked over to the drum set and tried to get on the drums, and my aunt was like, "What are you doing? You don't know how to do that," And then years later, I learned to start playing drums. So as time goes on, I'm still singing with my mom's group. We going over different places and everything. And I developed playing and singing.
Hmm.
And so, that's what it requires. I mean, you play drums, you sing, in the background or whatever. And my mom was always hit me with, "I want you to sing this song." And I would always tell my mom before we even get up there, "Look, I'm focusing on playing drums.
That's
So
what I want to do.
I can't, it's enough I have to sing and play behind the back, sing in the background. So now you want me to lead a song that I have to focus on." And it just wasn't a big fan of mine, but I made her happy, and I always did it. And then, years later, just hanging with my cousin Johnny and Randy, of course, Johnny branched off first, went to New Edition, but just hanging with Randy was getting into it. And, I always, after that, I started getting a love for singing. And I would always hum with them. And Randy and them had a big old band, so I would always hum with them and all that other stuff. And that's what became my love for singing. I never started out like that.
So many people who love to sing are still trying to find their way into the industry. And I know things have changed a lot from, when we were coming up versus to when the kids are coming up now, as far as getting into the industry. So how did that unfold for you? And do you have any advice for people getting into the industry today?
Well, quick bio how I got to Jermaine Mickey that I'm in. Like I said before, Randy and them was getting into it, and another guy, the Extra Wiley. They were getting into it, and they were working and doing stuff, with like a big Earth, Wind and Fire type band. I would just hang out because I don't have no brothers, so I'm the oldest. I have 3 sisters, so they were like my brothers. My older cousins was like my brothers, so I would always hang with Randy, and he would do stuff and all that stuff, and I would go to their rehearsals and everything. And they decided that they wanted to break that band down to a 3-man group. But the way I got into it, I was hanging with them, and we went over to a local radio station, PGC 95 here in DC. Shout out DC, Chocolate City.
Shout out DC, right?
We did, the first time, they did a home jam show. And one of the guys that was in their band, because they dropped down to 3 guys or whatever, and the guy was supposed to be in it. And he didn't show up. So Paco Lopez worked at PGC, and he was out of the studio that time. So at the time, Randy, the extra was like, yo, the other guy can't make it. So he was like, yo, why don't you get Jermaine? My cousin like, Jermaine ain't gonna do it, man. Whatever. I don't want Jermaine to do whatever. They already shoot me down already. So I'm like, yo,
that's
man,
family.
Just give me a chance. Just give me a chance. So I they did the home jam show. I kind of, got my voice in there, tune in with them a little bit. So that got me inside the group. So it was like a 4-man group. So as time goes on, the other guy was just fading out. He did like maybe 1 or 2 shows with us here in the city, as we going up, but he faded out. And when we went back to PGC, my cousin of mine, Denise Span, had a show on, like talking about entertainment and all that. So Randy was like, yo, he told me in the extra, man, let's go to the radio station. I got an interview with Denise. So he's like, all right, cool. So we went up there, and she was talking about Johnny, and she was asking questions about Johnny. So she was like, y'all a group, why don't y'all sing something? So we was like, we did a Jodeci song. And people were calling, that's Jodeci, is that Jodeci? And it's like, no, it's not Jodeci. So we did that. And the guy that interviewed us prior, that was not in the studio, Paco, he wasn't in the studio. He was coming in for his shift. Now, let's go back a little bit. Randy and them was working on a demo with Kevin Jackson, which is Stacey Lattison's husband. That's pretty much who we started with as far as doing music. They were working on the demo, and one of our songs, Cry No More, happened to be one of those songs on the demo.
Okay.
So you know how people is, they carry the demos with them. So
hey, listen to my song.
Right. So after we finished singing and we did the interview with Denise, Paco walks in the studio because he's coming on to his shift. So he was like, yo, man, what's going on, y'all? He was like, ain't nothing, y'all sound good. I remember y'all on my home jam show, because PGC had a home jam where different local artists can come up and showcase their talent. So we did that prior, but I wasn't fully in the group. But as time went on, I got into the group. So I'm giving a short version because it's real long. But So he was like, what are y'all doing? Y'all got any music? Well, yes, you always keep the tape with him. Yeah, here's our demo. Okay. So normally we were blessed because normally people would say, oh, we'll listen to it later. He went in the pre-production room that day. He said, come on, man, let's go listen to it.
That's called God's timing right there.
Yeah, oh my God, man, don't get me excited. So we walk in the pre-production room. Now we've been listening to Cry No More the whole time. Like winding it back. You know them cassette tapes, we wind it back.
Mm-hmm.
So Cry No More happened to be the first song when he put that tape in. So he plays the tape and they go boop, 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 boop. And as soon as it got to going and he was listening, as soon as it got to those vocal cry no more, he said, click. We was like, uh-oh, is there something wrong? He said, yo, y'all are going to be stars. This is hot. Can we put this on the radio now? We was like, yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm not gonna say you know, right?
Yeah, I mean, hey, yeah. He was like, okay, I need another type of tape or whatever to put it on. So at the time, so we was like, he said, can you go get the master or whatever you needed? Because back then we had cassettes and DACs.
Yeah, it was different. Yeah.
So he was like, can you go get the original tape or whatever he needed to actually put it on the radio? So we was like, yeah, we going. So the producer wasn't trying to give it to us at the time. We had to actually tell him, look, we need this tape. He was like, I don't know, Shawty, you know, man, I gotta hold on to. He was like, yo, man, we really need this.
So do you think that's about control or production rights or what?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think we were I don't know what to call it. He was just off that day.
Okay.
We wasn't having it. We was like, we need this tape. So we had the ownership to it. Everything was cool. You know, we owned it, but I guess he needed to do some mixing to it. I don't know, whatever. But he did the final mix. He gave us the mix. We goes back up to PGC. I think they were like in near Virginia or something like that. And we rolled back up there and gave Paco the tape. So he was like, look, I have this on the air. I think every artist have this story about when their song come on the radio.
For the first time.
Everybody has this story. So after we leave, so Randy's like, all right, y'all, we going home, man. We excited. Soon as we can get down BW Parkway, we hear this is a WPGC exclusive, and Cry No More has drums to it. Boom, 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 do, 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 do. And me and DS was like, ah! Oh my God. And we got out and we church people. So we got out and started fake shouting and all that other stuff, jumping up and down.
On BW Parkway, which is no marriage drum. Yes.
We pulled over and we gave God praise like, yes, thank you, Jesus. And the rest was history. That song was #1 for 4 weeks straight, back to back. We didn't have a record deal. We didn't have anything. So it was doing so well, they were sending it to their sister stations. And it was blowing up there. And then that's when the bidding war came for the record labels. And then we end up signing to MCA Records. We end up signing to MCA, Gasoline Alley, MCA. And the rest was history because we were friends with Shy. We always hung with Shy. Shy went to Gasoline Alley first. And then it's so coincidence, we came right behind them and we signed with Gasoline Alley after that and the rest. But we were doing shows without a record deal. I remember we did a show in Dallas, Texas, Juneteenth. It was like SWV Silk, like, I don't know, like 50,000 people. It was just big. And we were doing shows. We didn't have a record deal, but we ended up signing with Gasoline Alley and the rest is history.
So this is awesome. It's an awesome testimony as to everybody's path is different on how they get on per se. But you
Yeah.
guys, you got to take a break. But when we come back, Jermaine, I want to actually talk about the deal itself and the pre-promotion, which was doing the shows and getting your name and your group out there prior to give yourself a little bit more leverage when it comes to signing a deal or not signing a deal. So you guys, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, you guys. If you are just joining us, I have the pleasure to talk with Jermaine Mickey, and we are going to talk the deal. So, you guys, your song was #1 for 4 weeks straight on PGC. It was doing so well that they sent it out to their sister stations, and that presented a great opportunity for you guys. It had a bidding war when it came to getting signed on a label. So, can you tell me the difference between, you know, the parent label and then the sub labels and how that works and what that look like? What does it look like behind closed doors in a boardroom? Because you say you got signed to MCA, and a lot of times people know the one name, but they don't know the sub names. And when it comes to record deals,
well, the way we came out, you know, record companies is a business, so that's their job to get the best talent that they can possibly have. And for us to have a song that, I mean, just being blessed to even be, it's hard to get on radio. You know, I mean, it was much harder back then. And for us, it was all in God's timing. It was just our time. So the way it was, you know, the way we were shot into the industry, and we had leverage then, because then we can kind of sit back and choose where we wanted to go. And Gasoline Alley, which the head of Gasoline was Randy Phillips. Randy Phillips was he was working with Rod. He was a manager of Rod Stewart, and then he, in his later years after the label, you know, whatever, he was working with Michael Jackson, like in his later years when Michael was about to do the actual This Is It tour.
Yeah,
Randy was working with them. So that was the label CEO, whatever. Of course, MCA was the big label. That was the big dogs. They had Patty, New Edition, and Guy, and all them other stuff. So they were the sub label, but Gasoline Alley was connected with them at the time. So we felt we were in good hands when we went over there. That was a good situation, you know, at the time for us.
So people, you know, they do their music, they self-promote. How much of you guys touring and doing your own promotions played a part in your leverage when it came to signing at the dotted line?
Well, if it wasn't for Paco Lopez, we wouldn't even be in this position. I talked to Paco the other day, and he was just like, hey, man, I just did what God wanted me to do. I'm like, no, nobody walks in the studio and listen to that CD and brings everybody in the pre-production room right then to play something and then play it the same day. That's just never happens.
Right.
Sometimes that demo get tossed to the side, but it was our timing. And while that song was playing on the radio, that was giving us leverage, and, you know, record companies were calling. So we didn't really have to do too much. The song was already #1. It was already being played. All Gasoline Alley MCA had to do is just put the rest of the fire on it and keep it burning.
The marketing dollars, put it across the country and everything else.
they did the push and put the monies in our pocket at the time, and that's all we needed after that.
Yeah.
So we would say God did the groundwork. And they just put everything else over the top.
Well, what one of my mentors love to say is God can't stir apart cars. So the fact that you guys were moving, he was able to put you guys in the right position and open those doors. You guys, but you have to see this video in order to understand what we're talking about. So you guys stay with us. We're going to watch Cry No More.
All right.
You guys, I hope you enjoy Cry No More. I mean, it's just
now,
like...
let me explain this video. Hold on. If people can look at us, we were standing in water. We wasn't deep in the water, but we were standing like, I mean, it was cold and oh my God, man.
You had to fake the funk.
Yeah, but we were actually on the water on the beach and doing different scenes, and it was a long day, but it was a great, that song to us, if I can say, years later as we went on the road, people had different stories about that song. I mean, we heard that's how my baby was made, and or somebody passed away. That was a touching song for them. So everybody had a different story for Cry No More of how it touched them, touched their lives. And that was written by the Extra Wiley and Randy, whatever. So that was a big situation for them.
So let me ask you a question, because that brings up a great point about writing rights, the people who write the song, produce the song, ownership. What do you feel about that? Because I know a lot of the times people get themselves in a ownership pickle, and later down the years when they go on a reunion tour or something, they got to pay out a whole bunch of money to be able to sing their own song, which legally is not their song.
Well, luckily, To the Extreme wrote, the Extra Wiley wrote all of our material mostly. I mean, Randy did some stuff. I didn't write nothing. I didn't actually write until the group kind of died down. And I'm always a member of the group. I mean, we still together. We can go out on the road as we speak, but we doing different projects. But I never wrote nothing. They were the writers. So they were living the benefits off of their publishing and all that other stuff. And, I never had the chance to experience that until after it. And, it's totally different now.
Yeah.
We don't, back then, the record companies had the money and the energy, and they were willing to put it behind you and support you and pay you. It's not like that right now. So they pretty much had that writing pen, the actual, man, they moved us to LA while we working on the album. There's been many nights the actual will get an idea for a song and he's waking me up, because we was living in, one of them duplex apartments and my room is across from him. So he'd get up, yo, Jay, I got this song, man. I've got my eyes is red. I'm like, yo, man, what the heck is going on, man? What?
That's when it struck him,
Man, I got this song. I need you saying this. I'm sitting there half asleep. I was always his person to get the melody and all that before we actually go into the studio the next day to record this stuff. So I can say that I rode with him on that. I was a part of his writing session all the time because he would always
the creation process.
Yeah, he would always wake me up and see how this sound, and I got the harmonies for this. We do the harmonies like this, and I'm like, yeah, we on LA time, man. I'm tired, but it came with the turn, so we had to do it the next day. And Randy would just come in and do his part and just kill it and leave. But let the record show, I'm the fastest person in the group to do backgrounds and ad-libs and stuff. I am the fastest. I will go in there and say, all right, I want you to do this. Okay, I'll do that. One take, I'm out. They'll be there, and then I'm going playing PlayStation or something. They be down there all night trying to get it right.
So you just get it done, get out, and go on with the day.
I would say, what's my key? What I got to do? Boom, I do it. I'm out. That was on the first album, but the second album they made me sing a little bit. So,
speaking of which, how did that progress? Because you went from there all the way to Count on Me. What was the middle part? Could you say as the group died down and everything? So can you tell us that?
Well, we did the 2 albums on MCA, and then people started getting fired, and we had a lot of opportunities to actually do different stuff. Like, if you're familiar, he actually told me about this, and I actually forgot, but when he brought it up to me, remember the Black Men's United song that they did, and everybody got together? It was like they were singing this song called You Will Know. It was on the Jason Lyric soundtrack. Like, all the 90s groups got together and did this big song.
Yeah.
We didn't even know about it until we were actually on the road, and we were supposed to do it. Or they wanted us to do it, whatever. Brian McKnight set it up, and we were supposed to do this song. But we were on the road, and you know how you had beepers back in the days? He got a text from Jeff Intro, was like, yo, man, where y'all at? We down here recording. We was like, recording what? The Black Men's United, whatever. We was like, we ain't know nothing about it. And man, we called Gasoline Alley. It was like, yo, what the heck happened? Oh, we want y'all to stay out of that, and we want y'all to be on another level. And we were pissed because that song was not only that song was big, it was huge, and it was
all on it, of course.
Oh my God, we were so pissed. He actually told me about that last night, and I just remember because certain things and when he started describing what happened, and I heard the song, I was like, oh my God, yeah, it just brought back memories of how we could have been a part of that song, and it just passes by because our record company didn't inform us or whatever. But we did that. Gasoline kind of faded off. We signed the MCA and did the second album in '96. Which did pretty well. And then, everybody in MCA started to get fired and they dropped the contract, and then we just faded on away. I kind of left to do gospel. The guys were still together. They had another guy to come in and kind of fill, because I was like, gospel had always been, because I did it so long, gospel was always a part of me.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, I want to go and do gospel. So I came back home, and, luckily I'm glad I did, because my mother was getting sick. My mother was a pastor, and, she was a real strong lady. And not knowing that I had to spend my last years with my mom. But let me touch on something, a moment that I would never forget. I know I'm bouncing around, but let me
go ahead.
I can remember when we first got signed and we were moving to LA. I am a mama's boy. I'm a man, but I'm the only boy. And I was always around my mother. I can remember my mom taking me to the airport to put me on a plane to go to. Now, this is a baby. I'm just coming out of high school. And we had to fly to MCA. We stayed in MCA to do the album. And I can remember getting on the plane, looking back, and it was like somebody poured a whole bucket of water on my mother's face and how she was crying. Like, my baby is leaving. And that got me so bad that I hated LA for a minute. I was like, I don't want to do it. But she was like, even though I'm crying, I need you to get this money. I'll get over that. But that was a moment for me, whatever. So I kind of faded out and came and did a little gospel. And I did a gospel album called Testimonies. And that's when I started writing.
Oh, okay.
I wrote a song called I Can't Forget. And then my wife wrote me a song called God Alone. That was on my first album. And then I did 2 gospel albums. And then the second album I wrote on that, I wrote like maybe 3. I wrote like the whole album, maybe almost. And I did that. And then I was talking to my former manager, which is my god sister. I said, man, I want to do an R&B album.
R&B is the best. I mean, I love gospel, but 90s R&B, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I want to do an R&B album. So she was like, cool. And this is my first time even writing. I was writing gospel, and that was the first song that I actually wrote, Count on Me. And the song came for, after I did all my stuff and was the bachelor out there on the road and all that, I met my wife. And we met in an unusual place. We met over the phone. If anybody knows the little call Jones that you call and you talk to people and you don't see them and all that, that's how we met.
Yo, so the back in the day phone calls.
Yeah, the little chat phone calls where you call in. I don't normally tell everybody this, but 15 years later, we already married, so whatever. And I wrote that song for her. Because when we first got together, I was already out of the music industry. So I was rebuilding. I didn't have what I had.
Yeah.
And she was coming off of a rebound situation, and she already had, look, I'm independent. I don't need nobody coming in. I ain't paying for nothing. I ain't doing nothing. I said, look, calm down. I'm not here to do that. Give me a chance to prove to you that I can be who I am. Well, 15 years later, I'm still here and we married. So I was just sitting around. I said, you know how you gave me a hard way to go? I mean, you didn't know that you can count on me? I was like, wait a minute.
There's the song. Yep.
And there's a song.
And there's the song.
And she's actually in the beginning. The video, we did a mini video. No, we did a mini movie in front of the video. And, it was a scene where we was in the studio. She was hanging with the girls. And I'm at the studio and, groupie walks in and she wants to talk to me and she hears it over the phone and she has trust issues. And my sister was in and, she encourages my wife and then it goes into the video. But that was a great song for me.
See? And speaking of Count on Me, you guys, let's watch Count on Me. We'll be right back.
You gonna get that contract today, aren't you?
You are so wild, Randy.
Looking all good and whatnot.
You know how I do. Gotta stay on fleek to be artist of the week, sweetie.
Tiana, when you gonna let me take you out? You know 7-Eleven around the corner, right? You know 7-Eleven.
Is that Jermaine? Man, this song is jumping.
And I was looking at him. Ooh, God. He
Throwing your things on him. Come on.
He's at the restaurant by himself. It's something about a man who sit by himself in the restaurant. The way he was cutting himself. I said, look me. That's right. I said, I'm about to check him out. So I had to let my waitress slip him the number. He called me too. I gotta tell you about that. That's another day.
Oh, that is good. What your man gonna say when he find out you out here giving your number out?
But what is?
Does he have the brother? That's all I want to know.
I'll find out and let you know.
Find out if he got a father.
Ooh, you like him. Oh,
Hey, fire, son.
Man, as long as I know you got me, boy, we good, boy. Hold up, wife on the phone. Yeah, hey, babe, you heard that?
Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, what y'all doing? Y'all chilling? Yo, what up, RG?
What's up, man?
All right.
What you doing?
Chilling, talk to the wife.
Why you ain't singing?
Yeah, yeah. So what you doing?
You know, girls night, little chit chatting going on. You know, we just talking about.
We like to see you.
Jermaine. I love that song. You know what? We should do a track together.
Oh, sweetheart, I'm good right now.
Is there anything I can get for you?
Who is that?
Anything at all.
I'm cool.
Anything at all. Come on, just anything.
Hey, look here. You know I know Quincy Jones, right?
Hello? Hello?
Hello? Damn, it's like the phone hung out.
What's going on? Like, the phone just hung out. To the movie. Yeah, I want to see Black Panther. Girl, let me get another drink. What is going on? Jermaine is at the studio, and some girl asked him, did he need some water?
Water?
I didn't know they had servers and waitresses and stuff at the studio.
Hold on. What is going on? Like,
I don't know.
What she sound like when she asked him?
You want some water?
No, this sound like secret stuff. Like,
no, she wasn't talking to my brother. Let's gas up the pace and let's go.
Girls, I can't keep doing this. I don't know. It's too much.
You can do all right.
We gotta find out what's really going on. We don't want to make it all hype, and it may not even be that.
Have you talked to him?
No, not because the phone hung up. I don't know if he hung up on me or the girl hung up on me. I don't know what happened. We've been talking, and it was like, click. And I'm like, hello? I did. No answer.
We need to go check the resource.
I don't know, no answer.
The phone just hung up. Did he call you back?
He got T-Mobile.
I don't know if he did. He tried to call me back. I didn't get it.
Where you going, man? Where you going? You got a song to do in here. Where you going?
Man, first of all, the girl walking in the studio, I'm already having problems with Tawana already, man. I gotta go home, man. This is crazy.
Just lie to her.
What's really going on, sis? You seem like you just all zoned out. I know you're not stressing out over my brother.
Well, you know your brother is in the gospel field, and this is a whole different ballgame. Him going into R&B. I know about all the God-fearing thoughts, but it's a little different, a different ballgame now. So I'm really not sure of what to do, what to expect. And
let me tell you, you are my brother's everything. He loves you. There's no need to be stressing, and there's no need to be tripping.
I can't do that, man. What's wrong with you?
Don't let nobody make you believe any different. He loves you, and that's all that matters.
You're right, sis. I shouldn't think the worst.
All right, give me a hug.
Love.
All right. But girl, let me get up out of here. I got a date.
A date?
You need me to clean up?
No.
I can't do that, man. This is a serious situation. You joking
Man,
around.
this is serious too. We in here doing a song, man. You want to do a song, you don't.
Man, I'm out of here, man.
Get out.
Leave.
Who gonna sing the song?
Baby, what's wrong? Are you okay?
I just don't want to be hurt anymore.
You won't be hurt again. Cause you can count on me. I know you've been hurt so many times before. Love hurt you so bad you don't wanna love no more. Let me be the one to pull you through. I'll be the man you need me to. 'Cause you can count me. Oh, you can count on me, baby. The good and the bad, I'll be right there. You can count on me. Yeah. Listen, baby, you can count on me. I know sometimes we're gonna have our ups and downs, baby. Ups and downs. Oh yeah. Let me be the man to turn that frown to a smile. I will be the one to please your every need, baby. I'll be your begging plea. You can count on me. Count on me, yeah. Through the good and the bad, I'll be right there, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. I will be there in the morning. I will be there in the evening, yeah. Late in the midnight, I will be back. Baby, you can count on me. Oh, you can put your trust in me, baby. Oh, through the good and the bad, I will be right there. I will be right there for you, baby. You can count on me. You don't have to let nobody, baby.
love you.
I love you too.
Welcome back, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. Count on me.
Yeah.
Yo, that's so much talent, right?
Yeah.
So you go from this whirlwind PGC launching pad, basically, to coming out the business when the music industry is in disarray and you know, things are changing. We're going digital and you know, all this other stuff. So now rebuilding in the music industry, but that is not all you do. You write, you sing, but you also have like shows coming out. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, as doing the music, I transitioned to radio, and radio actually came at a default because, like I said before in the previous, I always been I always had a love. My mom, and I say this all the time, I'm so glad my mom brought me up on traditional gospel music, quartet music, because that's in my system. It's like in my blood. You know how people just use drugs and it's like it's just in my veins. That's just something that
it's part of your foundation.
Yeah, I mean, you can ask my wife. She be hearing all kinds of quartet albums and everything. She's like, okay, I need to hear something else. You know, so I made a decision to start a show called the Quartet Hour. And the Quartet Hour was basically interviewing different traditional quartet artists. And I started it off on Blog Talk Radio. And my good friend, brother TC out of Cleveland, he told me about it. That's how I met my brother, you know, that got me, my partner that got me into it. And he was like, yeah, you can do it like this, you know, whatever. So we started with that show. And that show in the traditional quartet area became real big, you know, because they had a platform to come to do this. So as time goes on, I said, man, I want to make this even bigger. So I had got an opportunity to get take that platform to a bigger level. So that's how we went into getting WAJM and owning those two stations. And like I said, I never wanted to do radio. Once again, I mean, you know, I never thought I would be doing radio and never thought I would be owning two stations. So now I have two internet stations that I own. One is a 24-hour R&B station and one is a traditional quartet station. And I run it, and you know, it's doing very well. We have the Queen of Comedy, Cheryl Underwood, on our station.
What's up, Cheryl?
Cheryl, actually, when you go on our website, that's the first person you see. She is the first lady of WAJM. And WAJM is my name. I'm going to tell you how I came with it. The W, I just put it on the front, but my full name is Alfonso Jermaine Mickey. So all I did was took the W and put it in, and I got the A for Alfonso, the J for Jermaine, and the last name Mickey. That's WAJM.
Awesome.
So we're doing that right now. It's becoming very, very successful. That led me into doing the Jermaine Mickey Show. The Jermaine Mickey Show is similar to like Steve Harvey and that type of stuff. So I started that, and we had to kind of make some tweaks. But now we are relaunching that show on my station to come right before Cheryl. And I have two beautiful sisters, Miss D out of Atlanta and my girl Ty Cobb here in DC are the two co-hosts, and we bring you entertainment, 90s R&B, and just all. If you're familiar with Steve Harvey show, the show is based around that. And you know, so God is good, man. I never thought from
all day, every day.
Yeah, it's I never thought from being at PGC, getting that chance to being here where I am today. God is truly good, and I'm excited, and I'm enjoying the ride, and my wife is a part of it. I just got to get her implementing how everything rolls, you know. Yeah. But you know, for the most part, I do it all for her. I don't have any kids. I have all God kids, and you know, she's like the person that I work hard for. And you know, she's a part of the business as well. And you know, J Mickey World is just going up to another level, and I'm excited. And I'm working on the Definition of Love album as well. So that Count on Me is on that album. Shout out to my record company, J Mickey Music Group, my writing team, Gino, and you know, and all my fellas over there. You know, so we're currently working on that album, and we're launching the Jermaine Mickey TV show that I'm launching soon. the Jermaine Mickey, the Jermaine Mickey TV show is an online show that we're going to be interviewing gospel and R&B artists. I didn't put a title on it. I didn't just say, hey, it's going to be R&B and that's it. No, I'm going to have gospel and R&B artists on the Jermaine Mickey show. So you might see a traditional artist, traditional gospel artist. You might see a quartet artist, or you may see an R&B artist. It's just, that's what it is. So the
You're
Jermaine Mickey
marrying the two loves together.
exactly. It's coming off, although the video show is fading off of the video show, it still has its own title that we don't have it, and to where we just say, well, it's going to stick to that one platform. Everybody can come on and the Jermaine Mickey show, whether you're an artist, comedian, somebody write a book or whatever. And then we'll be giving updates on what we did on the Jermaine Mickey show prior, you know, on the radio and, you know, just coming on live. So,
yeah.
Man.
So it is amazing. A lot of times people don't understand the struggles that they go through. But when you look back and you see how the one step led to another step, led to another step in the progression of your life, it's like, yeah, I'm truly blessed. So with that being said, and knowing that your wife is your why, your reason to do stuff, where do you see yourself going in the future? I know you have the shows, but what do you want it to become? Like, what's your end game, your goal?
I'm glad you said that. I was talking to my new media team. Shout out to Miss Ronnie. You know, I was telling her, I want to be the top internet station in the world. I want to be next to XM Radio, and our station is similar to XM because we have good numbers. We stream, a lot of our big numbers are overseas.
Yeah.
So we have good numbers right now, but I want to be the top mobile. I want J Mickey World is our whole umbrella of where the J Mickey World. Stuff. Yeah, everything is over under J Mickey World. The record company, the radio station, me as an artist, that's that umbrella. And I want J Mickey World to be the next MCA. The next Radio One, you know, to give people opportunities and do different things, you know, because of course we know it's not easy right now. You know, we're making a transition to a better president, you know. So it's going to be opportunities there for us to go to the next level. And I'm so excited about the media team that we have. You know, that's keeping me exercising and reminding me I can't stay up all night because I might have an interview to do.
Health is your wealth.
Yeah, a matter of fact, speaking of that, I will be performing. I don't have the information, but there's a event for the inauguration, not on the inauguration, but I'm performing at some event that's surrounded by the inauguration this Wednesday. So by the time this airs, I'll be done did it. So.
Yeah, I mean, man, being close to DC and looking at how it's set up right now, it's just crazy.
Well, I'm glad we ain't got to go down that far, but you know,
right?
you guys will see it before this is aired. But I just mentioned that things is starting to pop off real quick, and I have a feel for that because that's where I came. Stuff once you get that opportunity,
the momentum
it happens like this. And let me tell you guys something. These days in time, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Oh, so remember, do not burn your bridges. Please. That person that you may be talking to side by side, you don't even know who they are. Like, Ronnie been on my plate. We've been friends for a while. I didn't even know that she do what she does. And she didn't even know that, she followed me, but she didn't know that I was progressive and we progressive, and we nailed those two together. And then it was like, we can do something with this.
Exactly.
And
Shout
now
out to Veronica's favorite one.
Yeah, so now we seeing things just shoo, and I just got to get my wife in it because she's not used to it. But once she see the residuals and everything works, she's like, oh yeah, I can get used to this. Now, but that's not always the purpose. We got to live and everything, but be all you can be. And sometimes my plate does get full. I got a lot. I'm running the station. It's just me, putting the music in, and I'm late nights and a whole bunch of stuff. And then you being an artist, you're writing songs and you're doing it.
It's a grind.
I'm doing it for a purpose.
Yes.
Because I don't want to work for anybody. I want to be my own boss and do what I have to do. And the progress is looking real good for us right now. And I'm excited to be, see what the next level is going to be. I already made I made a set goal for myself that, before I turn 50, I want to be those people once again that you hear and you talk about. And not only that, to help people go to the next level and do different things. Me and my wife came into this marriage as saying we would talk late at night, strategizing what we want to become as a couple and business people. We want to do this, and we would sit there and strategize. If we get a hair salon, we want to put this in there. I couldn't have the better partner that I have in the world than my wife right now, because sometimes you can get a person that is far left from who you are.
Yeah.
She understands the grind. I remember when she first came to my life, I said, look, there are some people, I'm an entertainer, you're going to see a whole bunch of crazy stuff. And she took it. Hey, they's your fans. And, I had to clean up my page a little bit, and, it was some crazy stuff going on, but it just shows the trust that she had in me to know that, hey, I'm with you every step of the way. And I just wanted to be the best husband I can be. And I believe that I got that award.
Most definitely. And you guys, you just said so much in that, Jermaine. You were saying like business structure, the umbrella, how you can structure that. You were talking about residual income. You were talking about partnerships and masterminds. You guys, there is such a wealth of information, but in order to understand it, you got to continually to grow and educate your mind and the possibilities. So, I mean, we can delve into that, but that would be like each of those topics could be a whole nother show and everything. So we'll definitely have to do that one day.
Yeah,
yeah, we do. So if people want to follow, support, buy your music, watch your stuff, how do they find and follow you?
Well, for the radio station, WAJM, you can go to www.wajmradiocom.com. That's where you can hear Cheryl Underwood. That's where you can hear the Jermaine Mickey Show. You can hear right on the website. Also for the Quartet Show, that's www.quartetnation.org, and you can hear all your good quartet traditional music there. We does different shows there, so you can hear that. Me as an artist, you can catch me on Jermaine Mickey on Facebook. Also Jermaine Mickey on Instagram and Twitter. So yeah, y'all check me out. And then I'm on Clubhouse, so you can check me out on Clubhouse.
Which is popping right now, you guys, for any of you business budding entrepreneurs, entertainers, musicians, whatever. They got a room for everything.
Yeah, guys, there's some craziness on there too, but you got to pick your own and see what you want to do.
But it's about networking, and that's a great place.
Yeah. You're gonna network a whole lot, It's a good thing, So I'm excited where God is taking J Mickey World. And eventually J Mickey Music Group going to be signing artists and giving people a chance like the 90s. I want my record company to be like the 90s, but a little different in teaching these artists on how to do it. Because of course we got the younger generation taking over now. Man, I think we had the best class of music And when we came out, I mean, we done toured SWV, Silk, H-Town, Drew Hill, all those guys, man. I say, but beyond the set, I would say this, and I'm gonna make this declaration. The 70s was great. We can't never, they paved the way for what we're doing today. Mm-hmm. But my music class, like Shy and Silk and all that, and 2D, we had a great music class. And
I agree.
Excited. I mean, Rude Boys and the Bird, and man, we just had a awesome music class, and I miss it, but I want to bring that back. So look out to the Extreme. Let me tell y'all this: To the Extreme is still together. We are still together. We're working on some things. You know, of course, we got this pandemic going on, but we are doing our individual stuff. You know, the Extra Wiley. Shout out to my boy. He out in LA making it big. You know, he was doing he's running Marvin Gaye's junior estate out in LA, and he also is in his fraternity. He's head of his fraternity, and he does the movies and music out there in LA. Randy, he's working on another solo album here in DC, and as well as myself. But we are still 2D, and we will always be 2D. There will never be another 2D Extreme. There can't be another Jermaine, Mickey, the Extra Wiley, or Randy Gill. And we got some things coming for not only us individually, but us as a group. So get ready. Once this pandemic goes down, we're going to be ready to roll on everything.
Awesomeness. So you guys, I thank you for tuning in with me here on G3. Of course, you can always follow the show at Get It, Got It Good G3 across all social media platforms, or you can follow me personally at Naja, NYSIA Carter, or Wilhite, WILHITE. Jermaine, I so appreciate your time that you spent with me here today.
Thank you so much. I mean, I really have. I got to get you on the Jermaine Mickey show so you can hang out over there with us.
All day, every day. You know I'm game.
Yeah. Thank y'all, guys. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Me too. Nothing but love for you guys. Until next time. Bye.
Peace.
Bennett Wilson has the world at his fingertips. One of the top basketball players in New York State, he is destined to lead Mount Vernon High to the state championship for the first time. Many of the nation's top colleges are already reaching out, eager to sign him to their roster. Still young, Bennett is seduced by the promise of fame and fortune. Yet, all is not as it appears. Bennett's life is plagued with strife and conflict. The oldest of three, he has grown up with his single mother in the tough inner-city projects of Mount Vernon. He knows his only ticket to freedom is through academics and basketball. Bennett's dreams come to a screeching halt when he learns his sick mother has fallen far behind on her rent and is threatened with eviction. Will Bennett finally succumb to a life he's avoided, and if he does, what will it cost? My Friend, My Hero, which celebrates its 25th year in print, is the first in the acclaimed The Hero book series by author Gerald LaVon Hoover.
Research suggests that close to 50% of all small businesses go out of business in their first 2 years. Don't let that be you. Join That's My Network LLC today. Here at That's My Network, we strive to help businesses build their brand by offering connections to multiple marketing streams, including promotion across a social media platform that has a growing following of 50,000 nationwide. Let us help build and develop your brand to reach its full potential. For more information, email that'smynetwork@gmail.com. That's My Network, a network that works for you.
I know you've been hurt so many times before. Love hurt you so bad you don't wanna love no more. Let me be the one to pull you through. I'll be the man you need me to, 'cause you can count on me. Oh, you can count on me, baby. Through the good and the bad, I'll be right there. You can count on me.
Parents, listen up. Knowledge can give you power, but only if applied. Our children are suffering. We are failing them. How? They can't read. Reading is an invaluable skill that's important to just about every aspect of our daily lives, from communicating to where we work and what we eat. The ability to read and understand what you're reading is something that children begin to pick up on beginning around age 5 or 6. Studies suggest that 2/3 of students who struggle with reading by 4th grade will run into trouble with the law at some point. Approximately 85% of those who do are considered to be functionally illiterate, meaning they read at or below a basic level. Illiteracy is linked to poverty as well. As many as 75% of welfare recipients struggle to read even the simplest text. For African Americans, it gets worse. The Department of Education reported more than 50% of Black and brown children in 4th grade was below the basic skills level and far below average. By the 9th grade, the rate dropped below 44%. At Girlfriends Book Club Baltimore, we read, we discuss books, and we empower our members while doing so. Girlfriends Book Club Baltimore, established in 2014, is a stress-free group which encourages reading, vocabulary expansion, comprehension skills, and confidence in a fun environment. Join, follow, and support us on social media at GBC Baltimore.